I would say witchcraft was the search for knowledge. It's also um, making things happen in conformity with my will, shall we say. Um, I think that a lot of people think that it's a bit spooky, but it's not at all. It's merely a search for lost knowledge, if you like. And these days there are two ways of looking at witchcraft, because the old craft, if you like, all the old villages and things like that had a wise man or a wise woman. Witch or wishe coming from the old word meaning to bend. In other words, I'm bending people to my will, right? Um, then you've got this new thingy that's come up alongside the original witchcraft. The craft being the knowledge of herbs to how to harm and how to heal, right? Then you've got this new sort of witchcraft thing which has come along, which is called Wicca, right? Which of course Joe Gardner and Margaret Murray brought in with the female side of it. And Wicca is more the religious side of it, if you like. I got into golf when I was about 17 in London. I was in a show up there and we went to a party afterwards, and this girl introduced me to a guy called Paul. He was wearing a pentagram, but the pentagram was upside down. I asked him what it was, and he said, "Oh, it's just a little sort of thing that we do. Are you interested?" And I said, "Yeah, So I went along to one or two of his little sort of gatherings, and everything was all sort of quite innocent at first. And then you get issued with a gown, etc., and it's all very glam, and you think, oh, this is good at 17, out in the woods. But unfortunately, they were on the darker side of witchcraft, if you like, what I call the idiots. But at 17, you don't realise. At 17, you go into... everyone comes into witchcraft, shall we say, looking for two things, either knowledge or power. I first went in looking for power, not realising. When they started into cats, that was it. I went to ground right out of it. And I went to ground for years, because then I took a job for Paul Raymond in his review bar, and one of Paul's friends walked in and asked me if I was going back, and I said no, and I was told, yes, you would go back. You had to go back. And that was when I changed my hair, wore glasses, got my teeth done. I went to Earth, completely to Earth. Moved down here, got married. Years passed. Never even thought any more about it until my son happened to get in touch with a girlie, got married to her, and she was studying as soon as she mentioned esoteric, I thought, oh God, here we go. But she asked me if I'd like to go along and meet these people one night, which I always thought to myself, oh, it's a bit, because she was a little bit fluffy bunny. But I thought, well, maybe it's going to be okay. Went there, and that's why I met Gavin Bone. And it was an entirely different group altogether. That was my first step on the serious side of the science of magic, if you like. And that's how I got into it, basically. Everybody learns all the time. I learn more from my student. When my student can teach me something, then I know I've done a good job. A damn good job. Lots of people will say, oh, I'll take you, I'll teach you this and I'll teach you that, and I'll give you this power and that power. Bullshit. Sorry. No. It's not expensive. In money, if you go to the right people. I do a course. I do 10 weeks of training, and all they give me is a £5 or £6 a lesson, but that includes their paper that I give them. I go down and print everything up for them. They come here, they have a nice evening, and I do 10 separate lessons to teach them. At the end of that time, they either leave. If it was curiosity, fine. If they want to go on, then we talk about it afterwards, but that has to be the agreement with the rest of the group. Providing the rest of the group are happy with them, then I will either say, well, is it a coven you want? Is that what you want? Do you want to join a coven? Or would you like me to recommend you to, some other place that have got a company if you're older or younger or whatever, you know. And that's how it goes. As regards money, no, I don't charge a lot, only for my printing and my time. Time, yes. Time, yes. Because you have to spend a hell of a lot of time studying yourself so that you've got something to teach your students each week. And that's about it. But it's time. It is a lot of time, yeah. 7 days a week, basically. The appeal, I think, is first of all fascination. Right. Oh, let's go see what this is about. Right. I also think it's because the patriarchal religion is imbalanced. You must have balance, otherwise you get nowhere. They've been without the feminine side of the deity for so long that I think the idea, when somebody first comes into the craft, they usually, once they've studied for a while, they usually have a mad passionate affair with the goddess for at least a year, because they've been denied the feminine side of religion for so long. After that, they bring the god back, and then they're more balanced. Now, there are lots of bookshops around. All bookshops have got an esoteric section. Usually in the back of the book, you'll find various addresses that you can write to or get in touch with. Locally, it's well known here that I do a moot, which is the third Thursday of every month, and that's at the old forge up the road. Also, there's a shop up there, Rainbows, that advertise me, and also one in Fareham. So basically, you'd have a look in, if that was your interest. 9 times out of 10 people going for crystals and cards, and there's all these bits and pieces up. Usually you'll find some way of contacting us, either myself or somebody else that's running a thingy. You then go along to that particular moot, and then you see who's more or less running the moot, and then go over to them and ask them. I mean, you'd come and ask me, you know, well, look, I'm interested in this, and then I would say to you, well, I'll tell you what, come along to the moot for 2 or 3 times, let us assess you, and then if we find that you're genuine and straight and not fluffy bunny, then I would say to you, right, come round, and we'll have a little talk, and you tell me what you like, and you tell me your interests, and I tell you what I did, and if you're interested, I'd say, well, okay, would you like to take my course? And that would be it. And that's how people get into it, if you like. Yes.